Well, hey everybody, it's Tuesday. It's about 6 p.m. on the East Coast out here. Hope you guys are doing well. Jeff may not be here. I don't know. He's having all kinds of connection issues. He's like at a truck stop in his fancy Western Star truck now, and he thinks he's all fancy and stuff. But you know what? He doesn't have an internet connection that will save his life. So anyhow, we'll be right back after this. Come check us out.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
Okay, not gonna lie. So during that second commercial, I was doing my thing where I was listening to AC/DC Thunderstruck and just, God, I love that song. You know what? Jeff's down there. I'm almost afraid to put him up because let's see. Wait, this will throw him out. There we go. Jeff, are you there, sir?
Yes, right here.
Oh, he's having so much fun with interwebs today.
Yeah.
It is pretty fun to watch. He had this great face freeze earlier. I'm not going to say what he looked like. Well, I'll show you what it looked like. You draw your own conclusions. It was great. Oh, man. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Hi, Donna. Hi.
She's watching
you.
you.
I know. I'm like, oh, crap. I better mind my stuff. You know who's first today? Chris Hamilton right there. Came in first. Like, dude, it was seconds. Seconds of me posting it. He's like, how long was it up before I got in there? I'm like, dude, like seconds, literally.
All right.
And then let's see who else. Josh McLean came in right after him, and then Tim. Just saying, TK's up in there. What's up, brother? Good to see you. James Vaughn, glad you're here. Hamey had a question, Jeff. He was asking on the ES healthcare stuff. Do you have to enroll in that November, December thing? I'm not sure. But I think that's when open enrollments are, but I'm not sure.
So all this stuff is regulated, and we are not licensed, Charlie. So I'm going to say, call him and
call
find
Greg.
Out.
Call Greg.
I know that there's that whole open enrollment thing that the law says, but then there's mitigating circumstances and change in status and
right
and all that stuff. And I think
here goes Jeff's internets. Someone screenshot that picture right there. Oh yes, he's almost got a Joker smile going. Let's wait for him to catch back up. This will be fun. Now, this is high quality video right here. This is entertainment, folks. This is the internet's at its best right here. That's all I'm going to say. Brian, Jess, good to see you. Jeff's going to come back talking like, what the hell? Why are you talking over me? It's going to be amazing. He may just even get kicked out here in a minute. Sean, good to see you, buddy. Yep. Look, Jeff just got kicked out. He just vanished. This is going to be a fun show for him tonight because he's going to be fighting this thing. Eventually, he's going to throw fingers at me. His choice, whatever. I'm cool with it. Craig, good to see you. Donna, good to see you. James, Craig, excuse me. James, I said, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Robot sound. That Donna is watching. Donna, he left me all alone. It's not my fault. I'm trying to be good, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I gotta close the screen. It's very distracting. I want to push play and it's AC/DC, and I gotta close that. Okay. Hey, you know what? For you folks out there on Seabright Insurance, they sent invoices out late this month. The wonderful Wakely, she's a nice lady, just had a baby and she's recovering from that stuff, so they're a little behind on some of this stuff. So be patient. You should have gotten them yesterday out in the emails and all that kind of stuff. I paid my insurance today. Just gonna throw it out there. Just got on there, did the adulting thing, got that happening. I've been doing all kinds of adulting stuff over the last couple of days. Like, y'all just don't even understand. I went through a 3-day course with the Tony Robbins folks, and they put fire in me. They absolutely exploded in my brain, and I have all kinds of stuff that I'm working on now in the background, and there's content that we're working on. We're working on getting this community going. But yeah, hey, back to the Seabright thing. So if you didn't see it when you thought you should see it, it should be in your email now. Your invoice is there. Go ahead and take care of that if you want to. Exactly. Josh McLean said the Swift fuel surcharge for you Swift folks out there is 0.405. We could talk about something on that today too. I actually have some notes on my fuel costs and that sort of thing. Also, if you're on Seabright and you just got the basic insurance packages that you needed, like the physical damage, the bobtail or non-trucking liability, OCAC, things like that. Any of those other offerings that they have, for instance, the personal effects, like the stuff in your truck, if your truck catches on fire, they've got a coverage for that that'll help cover some of that cost. I think it's like $2,500 for the coverage, maybe $1,500. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Honestly, it just whatever. It's only $6.25 a month. BOE, that's a good one. BOE, business operating expenses. If you are hurt, like from an accident, like your OCAC is going to pay your medical bills and stuff. If you're hurt, the BOE, what it does is it jumps in and it starts helping offset your business expenses, because OCAC doesn't cover your business stuff. So your truck payment, things like that, and that's a great one to have. If you don't have that one, I think you should honestly think about getting it. And then the accident reimbursement coverage. If you're in an accident and you get stranded out there, like our buddy Gabe did a while back, and got stuck in Atlanta and had left his credit card with his daughter at home for prom, had no way to get home. This insurance would have stepped up, paid for his Ubers, got him a flight or a bus or a ride home. I mean, all these other things. And that's only like $25. I don't know. It's a pretty damn good deal. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that out there. Definitely, you guys, if any of you are out there looking for insurance, give our people a call. Give Seabright a call. Seriously. Those guys are amazing. You don't have to be a Swift contractor to get that. You can call, look, I'm going to put it up on the bottom of the screen. There's the info right there for Seabright. You can call them at 800-366-6466. Wow, that hurt. That was kind of painful. I was trying to get it out before it came on my screen. Anyhow, 800-366-6466, like you saw in the ad when we first started. Give me a call if you, and compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. A lot of times what happens when you call and you get a quote, they give you a quote for their entire package. which is still $100 or $200 less than you Swift guys, for instance, would be paying for just 3 or 4 basic insurances. And they offer you all this stuff. Compare the physical damage insurance coverage cost, compare the bobtail, compare the OCAC. I assure you, Seabright is getting you a better price on OCAC and a way better price on physical damage. Anyhow, yeah, okay. I'm just saying, there's been a lot of debate and discussion. I've had a couple people say, "Oh, well, it's only $100. $100 is $100." And number one, if you were actually comparing just the insurance that you had to have, it would be several $100 difference saved every month just for the basics. Just saying, keep it in mind. We love those folks. I really am a fan. And you know what? I like talking to Sandy. I call and talk to Sandy. I'll probably get her in trouble because I'll talk to her for like an hour. We'll talk about everything but insurance because she's just fun to talk to. She's a nice lady. Oh, let's. Oh yeah, and you can start paying weekly with Seabright. So that's another thing to think about. If you're struggling trying to, for whatever reason, keep that money in your hot little hand for the entire month, hit them up weekly, man. They'll do that for you and make it easy for you. Just, do a automatic thing, man. Have so much come out of your check, set it in the bank. You could probably set up some sort of weird allotment or something, put it into a different bank account. Something like that. I know there's a way to do that. It's been a long time since I looked at stuff, but whatever. Anyhow, Swift guys, 0.405 is your fuel surcharge this week. I did pretty damn amazing on fuel this week. I just had to jot down some numbers, and I've been keeping a little bit better track of this stuff for the last couple of weeks because we had a really kind of big discussion about it in the Facebook group last week.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like people didn't really understand what they were paying for fuel and what they were being paid for the fuel surcharge and all that kind of thing. And here's my numbers for the week. I had 3,378 paid miles this week. Short week. We ran to Houston twice and back. That was it. The fuel surcharge 0.405, and the actual miles I drove this week were 3,645. That's a difference of 267 miles that I was not paid for. It's just a thing. I mean, it's 107 miles to my house. It's 107 miles back to the DC. I count that all part of my driving week. So it wasn't as bad as the week before. It was quite a much larger discrepancy, but I kept a little bit better this week. Anyhow, so the fuel surcharge, you get this, paid me $1,368.04 for my paid loaded miles this week. My fuel cost for the week was $1,147.67. Can't read my own writing. Pretty sure it's 67, but whatever. Anyhow, I made $220.42 on the fuel surcharge this week. Above them, I'm pretty happy about that. Not gonna, and that's up $100 almost exactly from last week from what I did. My fuel mileage this week was 10.16, and my average cost per gallon was 3.199. There you have it. That's what I spent. Oh, and I used 358.75 gallons this week. That's all the numbers you should ever need to know about your weekly fuel and miles per gallon stuff right there. You need to track all the numbers, guys. It's important. It's really important. So when Jeff or I say, hey, James, what is your fuel mileage this week? You're not telling me something crazy thing like, oh, it's between 9.1 and 10.7. No, my average was 10.16 miles per gallon this week. That's the answer you need to have, something like that. You need one specific number. That is your average MPG. Let's just be clear. It's not a range. It's a specific number.
That's right.
All right.
Otherwise, how do you know whether you're making money or not if you don't break everything down that way?
Exactly. So, oh God, Sean, you're making me hurt inside.
I would just shoot myself.
5.8
I don't care. Yeah, that's just bad, dude. In 2024, you're getting under 6 miles per gallon.
That hurts my feelings.
We'll make fun of you for that.
Jeff's in a new fancy truck. He's got crap
am.
internet, but he's got a fancy truck. He's like, oh, look, Western Star and stuff, and he's all happy. And then this guy tells me, hey, I'm in an ungoverned truck.
Hey,
I'm like,
that's a
oh,
secret.
hell.
That's a
Oh,
secret.
hell. Oh, I mean, he's like, I'm in a truck that goes faster than yours. See, that was a good recovery, huh, Jeff?
Yes.
I can do things. I don't even know. I was telling people earlier about how jacked up I was today or this week, Jeff, about all this Tony Robbins stuff and Dean Graziosi stuff that I got fired up on. I've been adulting, since last Friday. You guys just don't even understand. I'm gonna eat some Reese's Pieces. Run your face. Watch this. I don't know why I grabbed them.
Yeah, Sean. Do you legitimately, and be honest, do you legitimately need to do 80 miles an hour? Is that necessary to service that customer? Because you know what we're going to say, the difference between 80 and 60 is right around $25,000 a year of fuel, dude.
Tremendous.
So,
I get,
yeah,
there's some operations where you need to drive fast and you get paid to do that. I'm just saying.
there are, but make sure you're getting paid for it.
98,000 gross, run 80 miles per hour. Just sounds.
Yeah, I could tell you that this truck will do a really good clip in areas where it's legal. And I was looking at the dash, so Western Star is a weird thing. I was telling Charlie about this. It's really retro, even though it's a 22. So it's got the old dash computer like the one on my 16. But so that one wasn't all that accurate, but these guys were only getting like 7.6 miles a gallon out of this truck.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking challenge accepted.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what I can get out of a DD15 that's not castrated and doing 60 miles an hour.
Right.
We'll see what those numbers look like. I bet it's an 8.5, 9 mile per gallon truck, even with the aerodynamic problems on the Western Star.
Right.
And you know what little I know about Expedite so far, I've only been doing it, for a month. Boy, it's just I haven't seen a need to go faster than 60.
Right.
Even with what I've been doing. And it's been a lot of like a common load for me in the straight truck was, hey, go pick this thing up and just run it straight through 480 miles. Live unload on both ends, of course, because it's a straight truck. It's not like you can drop the box.
Right.
So then, 480 miles doesn't sound like much until you've got that getting into the customer, getting loaded. Traffic in Atlanta, and then getting unloaded. And then all of a sudden you're looking at your clock saying, there, please, God, be a parking spot at the pilot because that's about as far as I can go legally. So.
Oh, here's a bit of an exciting news for people that are nerds like me. You guys that have been listening for a while know that I've been struggling to get my lifetime fuel mileage to hit 9 miles per gallon. Mm-hmm. I did it once for about 2 weeks. I got it up to 9, and then I had just the most horrific week, and it dropped down to like 8.97 in a week. Right? This week, I hit 9.0. Last night, 9.01 lifetime.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that.
Now I could tell you too, though, real quick, Charlie, if there's any Panther guys that have started listening to us, if you're in a tractor, you need to be getting 8.83 miles to the gallon for the fuel surcharge at Panther to pay for all your fuel. That's the break-even point. But most people at Panther, Charlie, I know that Panther on their comm data, they've got a special deal with TA.
Right.
They're paying less than a Swift guy would on comm data if they're using TA.
Right.
Or they're on the ES Advantage card. So they're getting discounts. So they're not paying that. But just based on the national average this week, you got to be getting 8.83 in a Panther tractor. And this may or may not happen. I didn't get it in the straight truck I was driving, but 13.8 to break even on a straight truck. But, I did pretty good in the straight truck. I beat the averages. Yeah. It's just a different operation, Charlie. It was fascinating to do.
Right. It was. It was
If
frustrating, though.
it was frustrating. Well, because you're picking up like maximum 6 pallets of whatever, and
Right.
it's just got to get there. And some of the shorter loads you could possibly get 2 of the shorter loads in a day, but you as a solo you're running against that clock, right? I think as a team though, as a
Right.
team you could really kill it. Charlie and I were talking about this, and I was actually talking with Matt Nissen about it a little bit as well. Like you and Rosie.
Oh,
Rosie
yeah.
works from midnight to noon, and you work from noon to midnight. You just keep that truck running during your shift because you're not
Yep.
worried about hours at that point. And
Right.
you could just frickin' turn and turn and turn.
Oh, could you imagine just flipping those shorties?
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God.
So yeah, I'm not going to discuss pay at Panther because I don't know if I'm supposed to yet, but it's different than what I'm used to. That's for dang sure.
But what you can say is your fuel surcharge is better than ours this week in a tractor.
Right. But it isn't always.
Right.
Because
And
whereas
that's been the interesting thing.
Swift has that every 5 cents or so it changes. Panther's not like that. It's like,
It's like every
between
penny.
$1.25 to $2 and $2 to something, and then something to something. It's a range, and
Yeah.
there's only like 5 lines.
Yeah.
So right
Swift-
now we're doing better than you guys, but if fuel gets back up there around $5, not so much.
Yeah. So the difference between
So-
$3.72 a gallon of fuel and $3.73 a gallon of fuel is 0.002 cents. So I mean, but there's a difference on every whole penny change on the Swift fuel surcharge. So it's a thing.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And,
Greg's trying to get me in trouble. I've met quite a few people in the last week that don't understand the history of the fuel surcharge.
Right.
Which I know we've gone over it before, but back in the day, the first time people got above $1.25, the people lost their minds.
Right.
Why wouldn't they? And so the fuel surcharge originally was designed to have a truck that gets 6 miles per gallon paying no more than $1.25 out of pocket for fuel. That's the way it was originally designed. So fast forward to 2024. I don't think it's at 6 miles per gallon anymore, Charlie. But
yeah,
it's also not 9, and a lot of guys are getting 9. So
right.
that's where my father once asked me, "Aren't you worried about the rise in fuel?" I said, "Dad, did you notice that your cornflakes went up 5 cents a box last week?"
Right.
I went to me. The reason for that, those small fluctuation in retail prices, is a fuel surcharge.
Right. God, I look so with the Swift one, let's say it hits $6.55 a gallon, which I'd be happy if it did that tomorrow and stayed that way. That's a 0.909 cents per loaded mile, dispatch miles on fuel surcharge.
Yeah.
It's not hard to offset that with that surcharge. I'm just saying. It's just crazy. And I never pay I rarely ever get near the national average price because I'm shopping. I'm shopping for fuel every day.
Yep.
The route I'm doing right now, I have been kind of cheating. I have a very specific spot that I've been fueling in Mississippi. It's about the midway point for our run. So we fuel on the way out and we fuel on the way back on every run. Which is why my fuel price average is actually staying fairly flat. I did have a 10-cent jump from last week to this week. Last week I was at $3.09. This week I'm at $3.19. Yet I made $100 more on the fuel surcharge this week.
Right.
Above the cost of my fuel. Just saying. You know what I did? I got better fuel mileage. Now, all fairness, pretty light. I mean, excessively light at times. I think out of the 2 loads I had, they're kind of stacking them a little fuller than they do normally. But my heaviest load was 29,000 pounds in the box. And for us, that was a heavy load for an actual outbound grocery load. But then we come back empty.
Right.
Come on, man. I have been doing 65. So again, could have done better. But 65, the way that we're running this load, running the numbers, this does a couple things for us. That extra 5 miles an hour for, the day out, the day back, puts us in a better position for our next run. It does give us a little time to get some rest in between because I need it. I'm to the point now where I just need a nap every now and then, right? And so it provides that for me. And where I'm fueling, I could have gotten cheaper fuel along my route. In fact, I actually could have broke the $3 range. I actually saw a spot that I may or may not have fueled at that was like 289. And financially was probably the better, but for the logistics strategic side of my route, where I've been fueling just works out better for us. and so, I mean, that's what it is. But I'm not just doing it willy-nilly. I mean, there's a lot of thought that I put into this whole routing that Rosie and I are doing. And, where we're making our decision to do, where to fuel, what speed to drive, things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of thought that we're putting into our day.
Well, and you've got that half of your load is empty anyway.
Right. And that's tremendous. That's huge.
It's the same thing. You and I discussed this early on when you started this project. You decide to speed up. Right. You know exactly what it's costing you.
Yep.
And you have a reason you're doing that. It's staging you earlier in the day for your next one, so you're more likely to get another one of those cool loads, right?
Exactly.
And it's giving you time to take a nap. And at our age, that's important.
Man. Look, so because I've been so on fire with this business stuff that we've been going through, I am not sleeping well at night because I lay down and I immediately start thinking marketing and course design and all this other stuff that Jeff and I are working on. And not that it's going to bother any of you, whatever. But it is just filling my head. And then I sparked Rosie's interest in a project that I'm going to get her working on pretty soon that I think is going to be fantastic for a lot of people out there in the world. And I'm pretty excited about it. But I'm even more excited about it because she's excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
That one fired me up, man, because Jeff and I got some, we invested in ourselves and, our business, the Road Warrior Entrepreneur stuff. And we are developing some stuff for our community. And yeah, I think it's going to be fire. I think that, at the onset, the first few weeks or so, there's going to be those people, Jeff, it. They'll be like, it's kind of blank in here, right? But that's part of the thing. We're starting with a blank slate, a completely clean slate.
Yep.
And we're going to build what we believe to be the most amazing resource for trucking entrepreneurs.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do. That is our goal. That is what we are working on right now. As you guys see us babbling and goofing off on here. When you don't see us on here, that's what we're working on. Well, that and trying to keep our trucking businesses going. Let's be real. Because, right now, that's what pays for everything else. So it's a tough balancing act for us in there. And I'm not boo-hooing. I don't expect anybody to be like, oh, poor guys, whatever. No, that ain't what it is. I'm just sharing part of our experience with you because I am totally jacked up and fired up. Jeff has seen a change in me in the last week that he's been waiting to see for quite some time.
Since last year's event.
Right. He kept talking about all these things and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, bro. Nice. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. I mean, it sounded good. The idea was awesome. Now I've experienced for myself. Oh, man, you guys are in trouble in a good way.
Right.
Because look, it has sparked so much fire in my body, in my mind, in my soul, Jeff, in my freaking soul. Tony Robbins made me cry. I'll admit it.
I warned him.
That man, that dude's like magical, like for real. I don't understand it.
I totally warned. I'm just going to put it out there. I warned Charlie that this was going to happen. He did not believe me.
Yeah. Luckily, I was locked in my room all by myself. I didn't have anyone walk in and be like, "Bro, what's wrong? Are you okay?" I'm great, man. You don't understand. This is amazing. It was. Oh my god. I
See,
ain't scared to admit it.
when I went through some of that stuff, so I'm at my house at the time. I'm sitting in my little chair and I'm doing the that he has you do
Right.
and thinking about stuff. The tears are coming down, and my daughter walks in from school. What's
Right.
wrong with Dad? Shut up. Leave me alone.
Oh my god. They're like, "Who died?" Nobody died. I'm alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good
So
stuff.
yeah, I don't know, man. We're super excited. We've got a ton of learning that we're working on right now, and I'm excited for us, and I'm excited for everyone that's going to be a part of the community. And we are going to start really promoting the new community here real quick. You know, we've been talking about it here and there and things like that, and we've mentioned that, hey, we're going to do a promotion contest, right? We're going to give away a Rand McNally headset for people that bring referrals.
Yep.
And we're going to do something probably every other month or something. We're going to keep trying to start providing some fun games. Basically, and I know that sounds silly, but to reward your efforts along with our efforts, we're going to give you stuff. We're going to find things that
Yep.
you could use and that you would like to have, and that maybe you can't spring for yourself. Maybe you don't want to, but you'd like to have it. We're going to be able to start hooking some people up on some things that I think is going to be fun. You're going to have to earn it. We ain't just giving it to you. We're going to have different things that you have to do on a regular basis to earn these things. But we're going to make it fun. So look, oh my gosh, I'm so damn freaked out by all this stuff. I started working on a course last week. And while doing the layout on this course, it's actually a remake of a course Jeff and I already done. But we wanted to kind of redo it, do it a little bit better with some better tools. And it's pretty cool because from that, I got the idea for like 4 more. And then I got on fire with Rosie about her story, and oh my gosh. Like there's so much stuff rattling around in my head. Now I'm using our new tools to try and organize it all. Pretty stoked, pretty proud of myself. We have this thing called Gigi, which is amazing. It's like the most amazing AI I've ever used in my life. It's the craziest thing. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah,
I'm on fire.
that's part of the thing that we invested in was the ability to use these tools, which will help us to do all of these stuff that we've been talking about for so long.
Right.
Because what we found is what a lot of business people find. You have the idea, you kind of sort of know what to do. I mean, bringing it back to trucking because that's what we do. You want to be a business owner, and Swift's got this opportunity that looks good. Maybe it's not great, but it's good, right? It'll get you started.
Absolutely.
And so you lease that first truck, and your goal was to have a fleet of 10 trucks in the next 5 years.
Right.
Fast forward 10 years, and you're leasing your third truck. You never got to that point.
Still only a 1 truck operation.
And you know what the difference really is you didn't ask for help.
Right. Didn't know where to look. Didn't know what to ask.
Where to look. There are some people, we've met them, that just go out and build a fleet. They like have magic brain cells or something. But for those of us mortals out there, look, what we're trying to do is help you get to whatever that goal of yours is.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. Charlie and I at our age, looking at retirement in the next 10, 15 years, right now our goal is to build something that allows us to get out of these trucks.
Right.
Right. I'm working with Rob at Panther. I'm learning, he runs this more, about that side of the business, which is not the side of the business most of us know anything about. We know how to service customers. We know how to drive a truck safely, legally, and on time, and all that stuff. But when you actually ask these guys that own 40 trucks that have actually done it, First of all, they didn't start with 40 trucks. They started with one that they drove themselves. And then in many cases, what they ended up doing, really, Charlie, they saved up enough money to buy someone out that was retiring,
Right.
and ended up with a fleet of 10 trucks just from that. And they
Right.
got it at a discount because the guy's retiring. He's done.
Ready-made contracts, the whole 9 yards, man.
Right. And if it's at the same carrier that you've been riding your one truck at for many years, you've already got the relationships, right?
Right.
Not so much at the mega carriers, but some of the smaller carriers.
Right.
Absolutely. If you have a good reputation with them and a good working relationship, ask them, say, my fleet is 100% on time. My fleet only says no to loads that are stupid. You know that because you know me.
Right.
My fleet doesn't wreck trucks. Let's talk about the rate.
Right.
There's people at carriers that you would never guess that are getting on an ICOA, independent. Help me out,
Contractor
Charlie.
operating agreement.
Right. On an ICOA, just like at Swift, that are making a lot more than other people. And
Right.
it's because of the relationships they built.
At the same damn company.
Same company. The relationships they built, the quality of their drivers that they hire, and make no mistake, I had one fleet owner tell me, yeah, it was fun till I got to about 20 trucks, and now I don't know, man.
Right.
It's hard. And it's the juggling of the good drivers. That's the hard.
Yep.
They
Keeping butts in seats is a
don't
thing.
do this or that, or they don't want to do this or that, or they keep dinging trucks up, and you got to fire them, and then you got to find someone to put in that seat because most trucking companies are leveraged. Not very many trucking companies run debt free. Trucks cost a lot of money. And another thing, like if you get in with ES Success on their actual contract side, man, there's a lot of benefits to, like we've talked about. Do you pay your truck out? A serious consideration at ES is if you buy your truck out, right, you lose some of that support.
Right.
Because their whole business model is supporting you during that lease process, right?
Yeah.
And you lose some of those discounts of the support. So, I mean, I still argue, I just argued this today actually, that it's still better to own a truck outright. My 16, if I could get it back out on the road, I'd much rather do that. But here's the thing, and you all know what happened with me. You need to have that $30,000 to $50,000 per truck sitting there in the bank to fix the dang thing.
Right.
Because when you're clear and free, even at like an ES that's got these incredible discount programs and all that stuff, that just goes away when you're not doing business with them anymore, right?
Right.
So you gotta think through all of this. I still believe that owning a truck outright is the best way to make a good profit, but only if you can maintain the truck. There is that.
Yeah.
I mean, it came up yesterday. I was talking to a guy. I'm like, well, so if I have to replace my transmission, which I don't know whether I need to or not, I need to have it looked at. That could be a $25,000 bill. But what's a good used truck cost? $65,000, $70,000.
Right.
What's a brand new truck cost? $200.
$12 billion.
So if I repair the transmission for $25,000 instead of having a truck payment for another 4 years,
right,
and do the smart thing, right, and put the truck payment in the bank, by the time that truck, the wheels start falling off, I could probably stroke a check for another truck.
And then throw into
That's
that doing things like shopping for insurance,
right,
shopping for fuel, finding ways, and look, that's what our community is going to be about. Is ultimately Jeff and I are building a mastermind, right? And for those of you who don't understand what a mastermind is, it's not just one super dude that has all the answers. It's about building a community of people with varying views and opinions and ways of doing things, and creating all of those minds and experience, right? And bringing them all together into this cluster to where everyone benefits from that, right? We all get these extra tools that, I run into it all the time. It's really kind of funny. I will think something so simple. Oh, okay. Great example. I did a silly thing this week. I told you, Jeff. I got a flat on my tractor, one of my drive tires. It was great. I left the house. It was fine. Got to the DC, flat. Damn. I'm hooking up to a trailer and I'm like, damn, that tire's flat. First thing that jumped in my mind, because I was in this basic mindset at the time. I was a little distracted. I had things popping and I needed to
You
leave.
were in, I'm going to call it out for what it is, Charlie. You
Do it.
were in a company driver mindset.
It was. Absolutely. Typical company driver or even brand new contractor mindset, right? And I said, damn, I got to run down to the Loves and get me a tire patch. Right? I walked inside to talk to the office staff, said, hey, look, I've got this flat. I'm going to need to go get it plugged. I'm pretty sure it's pluggable from what I can see. It was a screw, no big deal. In the big bald base of the tire, right? Should have been easily patched. And I was talking to a company driver. He's like, bro, don't go to the Loves. I was there the other day, 15 hours to get a tire plugged and patched. And I was like, well, damn, I don't want to lose my load. And rather than me actually thinking like an entrepreneur, okay, well, where's another business I can get a tire done? There was a damn tire shop less than a mile and a half away, right? They do plugs and patches and sell tires and just that's all they do. It's just a tire shop, right? Kind of a hole in the wall. Great guys. Not a great place to look at. Murray's tire shop there in Lake City, Florida. Bit of a train wreck to look at, really old building, there's stuff everywhere. I mean, it's a typical tire shop. There's freaking tires everywhere and there's junk everywhere, and there's tools and stuff. And I'm like, man, God, I didn't even think of that. I was going to drive right past it. In fact, and 2 other tire shops to get to the Loves, where I could have ended up waiting for hours and lost my load and lost, I don't know, half my week's revenue because I would have lost that load. And that would have sucked. Instead, I'm like, this is funny. Company dude's like, bro, why don't you go hit up that tire company? He was actually talking about the second tire company in a row. I'm like, well, damn, why don't I just go right here to Murray's? I mean, hell, it's on the same road as the DC. Pulled in there. Hey guys, I need a plug and patch. What's it going to cost me? And they're like, I have $45 plus tax, whatever. It came out to like 53, I think is what it was. I sat there, had a good conversation with the guys that were doing on the tire work. It was a simple outside drive tire too at that. So pulled the truck up on a block, popped the damn tire off the rim, patched it, plugged it, put it back on, aired it to 115, and off I went. 40 minutes later, I was done.
Nice.
And still left with that load over an hour early from when it was supposed to leave. Dude that had to wait 15 hours the other night, his load was at least that late because they didn't have anyone else to cover it. In fact, what it ended up happening was they canceled the load, and I actually delivered to one of the stores that was supposed to get one of those deliveries from that truck. And they're like, man, yeah, our truck got canceled the other night. I don't know what happened. I'm like, oh, that was the dude. 15 hours for a tire plug and patch. Ridiculous. But yeah, I jumped into the wrong mindset, utilize my little immediate community in that office. And they're like, bro, why don't you try this place? Why don't you try that place? Why don't you try this? Oh, I hadn't even thought about it. I just went into panic mode for some stupid reason. And rather than stopping, taking a breath.
And you know what you're going to find when you join our community, when you sign up and subscribe, we're going to start at the beginning again. We're going to start right back with that entrepreneurial mindset. And for those of you that have been in the community for a while, you're we've already done this. It's that important, guys. What Charlie's talking about is he lost that focus just for one night. It could have cost him thousands of dollars losing that load, right? Thankfully, there was someone there to say, hey, buddy.
Right. Gary, shout out Gary.
So Sean, he's got his excuses here. We're back to his 80 miles an hour. 80 miles per hour is not required, but I pay percentage of load. Load's paid by weight. So if I run hard to grab another run hard and deliver, well, that's more loads, more money. More gross revenue for sure. But is it more money in your pocket, Sean?
Right.
You're
What's the
falling
net?
victim to that. You know, we've talked about this before. You're falling victim to that. I made $285,000 last year. No, you didn't. What you put in your bank account? That's what matters.
Right. That's what we got to talk about.
Oftentimes, when people slow down, when they watch their fuel mileage better, and so their overhead starts coming down and their bottom line starts rising. What if? And you're going to have to do the math on this. We can't do it for you because we don't have access to your books. Do the math on it, Sean. Figure out if that's worth it or not.
Well,
Your company now. So are you not paying for fuel at all?
and you know what? If that makes sense.
Yeah. You could have led with that, Sean. Now we look like idiots.
No, I keep forgetting. I forgot that he didn't get into another truck on his own, and I apologize. But
if I was your boss, I would be looking at that.
But he's not. That's the thing. Look, I've heard the conversations, that Sean has told me about him and his boss, and these dudes are like racing. They're like, yeah, we're gonna race, bro, and it's funny. I mean, look, power to them, whatever. I mean, I believe they can make more money, but you know what? It's not their concern, and I get it. But for our average person that's tuning in and trying to run a business on their own and running your one truck operation, trying to build to 5 or 10 or 20 trucks, that's not necessarily the stance to take. So I mean, we get it, Sean. Look, you're having fun, you're enjoying the company life over there, and I get it, man. I do, I dig it. But for argument's sake, we need to explain what it is that we're explaining.
Yeah. I hope people get, I forgot that he was a company guy now and that his boss doesn't care. But so if you're gonna run a business though, think about it this way, because we hear this all the time. The Swift trucks will do 70. Charlie and I typically drive 60. Well, I need to be ready to take another load. Do you really? In this freight market? Unless I'm stacked, I'm not saying I need to be ready for another load, right?
Right.
Now, if I've got a stack that requires me to do 70 to complete that stack and I committed to it, I'm doing 70, right? That's servicing my customer. But I got to do the math. What if I hadn't agreed to that middle load or something, right? Whatever load it is that caused you to have to do 70.
Right.
What would my bottom line have been? I'm telling you, do the math. A lot of times you would have made the same money by slowing the truck down and getting better fuel mileage as you would have by taking that third load.
Right.
You're looking at too many people look at that, and owner operators around the country are famous for this. Oh, well, if you're not making $300,000 a year, you don't know what you're doing. Okay. Gross revenue means absolutely nothing to me. What are you putting in your pocket? And how hard are you working to do it? I'm famous for I run my 70 out and I take my day off on Tuesdays to do the show and work with Charlie.
Right.
I like my day off, bro. Some people prefer to do that roll-off thing. More power to them. I don't like doing that. I like my day off.
Yeah.
How hard are you working for that money? At what point do you look at yourself and say, man, last night that last 5 hours on my 70 or whatever, man, I shouldn't have been driving that last 5 hours, man. That was sketchy. Yeah, think about that too, right? You ain't gonna be able to spend the money if you roll that truck and you're in the ditch.
Right.
All sorts of things to think about, man.
This dude right here, this dude came in on fire, man. For anyone who doesn't know, Chris got a hold of me. I want to say it was a couple months before he actually pulled the trigger on leasing a truck here at Swift. Came in from the outside. And what he's saying right here, he said, not watching you guys would have cost me thousands in fuel, insurance, accounting, and other expenses if I would have just gone in blind and signed on the line. Because he was going to come in and do what a lot of people do. He would have came in and he would have got the regular insurance that, the carrier was offering. He would have paid more for that. He would have just been driving around like a crazy person using con data as his only fuel card source, doing 70 miles an hour wherever he went. He'd be locked into completely different accounting firm that I don't necessarily agree with. Referred to as the 800-pound gorilla, whatever. That's their thing. He would have had less service from everything involved, from the insurance to fuel and everything. Instead, he reached out and said, hey, can you guys share some information? And we said, absolutely. And we started talking, and we were guiding him through the process of getting set up to start with. Look, I was actually watching, I saw another YouTube guy today, and I apologize for not knowing what his name is right now off the top of my head. Apparently he came over from Prime. He's happy. He's whatever. I mean, he did 9,000 miles last week, right? Or last week. Woo, that'd be a great week. 9,000 miles for his first month. Okay. So he's doing good. He was putting up some numbers. He was speaking numbers. He didn't actually put them up on the glass or anything like that. And I'd be curious to actually see the numbers on the glass, honestly. However, I know that because he was breaking down his costs, his weekly costs in his video. I really need to find the guy's name. Craig, help me out, buddy. I know Craig knows. Craig knows who it is. Craig, give me that name and I will absolutely link the dude, because I mean, whatever. I'm not trying to steal content. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong or right. I'm just saying that, he was sharing some numbers. I can tell you right now that guy, I could save him money.
Mm-hmm.
A couple pieces of knowledge that we have could save him money. He's out there trying to build a YouTube channel. Good on him. I'm not competing with the dude. Jeff and I are not competing with other YouTube people. That's not what we're here about. That's never been our thing. A lot of people want to think that they're some sort of competing force. Don't care. That's not our thing. We truly are about the community. The entire truck community.
If you're a YouTuber out there and you're watching us and we have similar goals in building community, absolutely we collaborate with you.
Right?
Cross promotion is good for the whole industry.
You need to understand a couple things about Jeff and I. We are absolutely upfront and honest. If we think you might have said something that's a little wonky, we will ask you about it. Not necessarily behind the scenes, because we don't hide a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, that's caused quite a bit of strife for the two of us in the past with, other YouTube people that, they said something and we came back on because we got a bunch of questions from viewers saying, oh my gosh, so-and-so said this. And we're like, that's not right. That's just flat wrong.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it became a war. And we're like, why are we even fighting? I don't even understand what's happening right now. We're literally just putting out fact. And if by some chance, I'm not saying Jeff and I are not flawed, but if some chance we put something out that's not factual, by all means, man, call us out. We ain't got to be mad at each other.
But when you do that, let us know where you got the information so we can check it out.
Right. Let's build better information.
We're all about learning, but we need to learn from, reputable sources. Right.
Callie, thank you, brother.
That's
yeah. He put out a video a couple of days ago, and he was basically recapping his month. But I started listening about he used his big thing is mud flap. I'm not an adopter of mud flap. I think, hey man, try it out. If it works for you, great. For me right now, the ES Advantage fuel card and utilizing the con data at the QT networks and things like that have been working for me for now. It's just what we do. We're not saying don't use mud flap. We're not saying only use ES, only use com data, only use it. We're saying get all the tools you can in your toolbox.
Right. And
use the best tool for the job at hand. Right. So like this gentleman over at Overly, I want to say his real name, but I can't think of it. Hang on, he's in a group. I'm gonna find that here in a minute. Excuse me. But he's not in our group.
Wow.
I did comment on his channel on his latest video. I said, hey man, check us out. I think we can actually help you out a little bit too. We have access to a couple things. I mean, we got this insurance built for our Swift guys as our side project for a while there, as a huge test bed. And I think that turned out to be a huge success for us. We were able to actually get out, find an insurance dude with Tony at Seabright who, built a product for our people, specifically for our people, right? It started out with just Swift people, and now it's open to contractors anywhere. And we can beat a lot of the people's insurance rates out there with better service. That's the thing. It's not just cheaper, it's better service. I'm going to throw a name out there, OOIDA insurance, right? When I tried to get OIDA insurance, it was cheaper. It was absolutely cheaper than what I was paying at Swift. And I believe it was cheaper than the rate I got at Seabright. The problem with it was I have a new truck that has an exorbitantly high loan value, basically, the stipulated loss value on a lease truck. It's what I owe week to week. It's not the value of the truck. It's what I owe on the loan. Let's just, be real of what it is. Whereas the value of my truck was about $35,000 less on the market. That's the price the OIDA insurance would pay if I totaled my truck. $35,000 less than what I owe on my truck. So I had this gap, as it's called, of $35,000 that I still owe to IEL, the leaseholder on my truck at Swift. OIDA doesn't cover that gap. I still got to come up with that 35 grand somehow. Where am I going to pull it? My backside? I'm going to get out on a corner and sling some booty? Nope. No one's paying for me. I'm just saying. But for a slightly higher price or a competitively, equal type price, I get gap coverage through Seabright as part of our package. Right? The OC Act that was offered from Seabright for us was cheaper than the Swift OC Act. The Swift OC Act is $150 a month. Through Seabright, it's right around $130. There's another $20 saved right there. And it's just $20, bro. Yeah, but that's $20 on $100 on $50 on $1,100 a month in my fuel card savings. On this, on that, that turns into tens of thousands of dollars for the year.
And
right?
Just real quick, Charlie, one of the things that we've seen with our Swift family is they'll call up Seabright and they get a quote for everything.
Right.
And if you get everything that Seabright offers, it's only about $20 less than what Swift is trying to sell you.
Yeah, somewhere between that and 100, 150, depending on what your modeling value of your truck is.
Right.
Let's just
but here's the thing: what they're offering you if they go that route, and we've talked to them about, and they might be changing how they talk to people. It's not apples to apples because they're adding on the personal effects that Swift doesn't offer. They're adding on the business coverage that Swift doesn't even offer. They're offering they're tagging on now the accident recovery insurance, which is, by the way, we don't talk about that one enough.
I know.
So let's just do that right now since it's on my mind. The accident recovery insurance, or whatever they call it, because I'm not the insurance guy. Tony Dennis is the insurance guy. We actually had accident reimbursement. So this came directly from an accident that happened to one of our Swift guys. Got in a bad accident, had no money, no credit card on him, nothing. Swift did help him a little bit. They gave him an advance for a hotel room to spend the night and all that stuff. But then, because he had no money, he had no way to get home. So the solution, it turned into, get into this rental truck and run freight. We'll get you home as soon as we can, which was a month later, by the way. Yeah. This dude is still disabled today because he re-injured himself in that rental truck.
They are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole on his medical stuff because of the way this went down. And this dude wanted to get back to trucking. He likes trucking. He doesn't want to be home on disability. I assure you that.
So let's say that you had this accident reimbursement.
It
Here's what
costs
happened.
$25 a month.
It costs $25 a month. He calls Seabright and says, "Oh man, I'm hurt." And they say, "Okay, let's get you into a hotel." They arrange the hotel. They pay for the hotel. They pay for the Uber to the hotel.
Right.
Next morning, they pay for transportation to wherever your truck is at so you can make sure that it's actually there and all that stuff. Then, get this, they pay to get you home,
Right.
whether it's plane, train, or automobile. They pay
Exactly.
to get you home. That's what that covers.
Whatever's going to work best for you in the situation. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to say, "Oh, this is the cheapest route. Take this route." Whatever works best for you in the situation is what they're going to let you do.
So then you get home faster. You don't have to worry about, oh, I just spent all my money on that hotel because Taylor Swift was in town this weekend,
Right.
and the only hotel
That's
I
what
could
happened.
find was $200 a night.
That is exactly what happened to our buddy Gabe. Taylor Swift was in town. There was 2 other major names in town. Every hotel in Atlanta was slam full at max rates. He ended up in a damn hotel that was like it was absolutely the closest hotel to where he wrecked, and it was over $200 a night.
Yep. So Seabright would have just paid for that with their Amex card. I mean, they even have Tony even mentioned this. So let's say that in the throes of the accident, you're all and you lose your wallet. You left it in the truck.
Right.
You can send Seabright a picture of you. This is me.
Right.
And they'll send that to the hotel for your ID. I mean,
right.
$25 a month for that. And insurance is insurance, folks. We buy insurance because we anticipate that we're going to have a claim that might bankrupt us someday. The insurance companies bet
it's a thing.
Right. The insurance company's bet is that you'll never need the claim, and so they just make the money. It is absolutely a Vegas style bet.
Right.
And that you get coverage, they're betting you're not. And then they come up with a rate based on all sorts of statistical tables that I don't even pretend to understand.
Actuary tables and nonsense words that aren't nonsense, but whatever. Oh, by the way, that's the
Charlie,
Josh Clevin. His channel is Every Logistics he's the prime guy that was talking about his new transition over to Swift. Just so you know.
Yeah, so I mean those actuarial tables, Charlie, I swear it goes down to this. You've got that little mole right here. I don't have one, so I'm thinking you probably pay more for insurance than me because you have a mole.
Probably. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a 3-headed monster at some point, I'm sure. I mean, it's got a couple. Wait, it's got some extra hair in it, so I mean that's got to be worth something. Yeah. And heaven forbid if I lose that thing in a tragic face accident where I fell out of the truck onto my mole.
Oh, would that count as loss of limb? I think that's like $250,000, right?
It's almost to the point where it might be a limb, bro. I'm just saying. I think I need to get it to extrude slightly further, and I will. It's going to be it's going to start waving at people in the wind.
So you Swift guys, especially. I'm not as familiar with other carriers, obviously, but if you're at a mega carrier, look at your insurance options. At Swift, I can tell you that if you got everything, worst case scenario, you get everything that Swift is offering you, plus those other coverages.
Oh my God, yeah.
For the exact same amount. That's the worst case scenario.
Right. For way better service. Look, I don't know if any of you have ever filed an OCAC claim.
You gave up on one, didn't you?
I did. I absolutely did. I absolutely gave up on it. They wanted some crazy information. I'm like, they wanted my entire life medical records. I got rear-ended by a big truck, by a guy who fell asleep at the wheel, never hit the brakes and rear-ended us. Thought I re-broke my back, ended up in the emergency. Turned out I just, sprained my neck, sprained my back and my ankle. Thought I had re-broken my back. Literally thought I'm screwed. I'm going to be numb from my, chest down. That's how bad it was. And they wanted all this craziness. And I was like, what is wrong with you people? One, couldn't produce it. I'm in Oklahoma. I lived in Oregon.
Right.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was just a nightmare. I gave up on it. I literally gave up on it. Luckily, I had really good medical insurance for the time, and they paid it all and never went after it. I settled up later. I filed a suit with a lawyer that didn't really do me a whole lot of favors, but got the medical bills paid. That's it. That's what we broke. It broke even. Whatever, man. It was a freaking nightmare. However, going through, I've actually spoken to several people who filed OCAC claims through the Seabright folks. Oh, okay. Here's a little disclosure. It's funny. The OCAC company that Seabright uses, I can't give you the name off the top of my head because I just simply don't remember it, is the same company that Swift uses for OCAC. Okay.
I guess they do most.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part. The people that you deal with for an OCAC claim through Seabright versus the people that you deal with for an OCAC claim through Swift, completely different people with completely different attitudes. It is the most amazing thing from what I've seen. It is our buddy Gabe. When he called, he initially got put into the Swift OCAC pool. Horrible experience. Experienced a lot of what I had. They were not helpful. They were not guiding him down the right path. And we found out that they put him in the wrong pool. And we're like, no, bro, you need to tell him that you're with Seabright under Contractors Corner. He called back. Hey, I told you guys I was a Swift. I am Contractors Swift, but my insurance is through Seabright and Contractors Corner. They're like, oh, let us switch you to a different department. He got a different person. Bam. Everything started happening. It was amazing. And $20 less a month. So with like the accident, I really want to call the right name. I think it's accident expense protection. Anyhow, with that, like for Rosie and I, because we're a team, I actually pay $25 a month twice.
Right, it's per person.
Yeah, each of us have our own coverage on that, and it's just like the OCAC. So I pay $130 a month twice on OCAC. So my monthly insurance is still right around $1,000 a month for all of my insurance. I actually don't have all of the coverages offered. I don't have the personal effects. Look, here's the deal.
Your laptop alone costs more than my house, so
my laptop was stupid expensive. I mean, if that thing burns up,
you're just gonna cry.
Yeah, I am totally gonna cry, especially since I just recently paid it off a few months ago. You know what I'm saying? Now is the time when it burns, I'm sure. Not while I had other insurance on it, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, so I don't have every bell and whistle, but I got damn near all of them. And I'm still
and that's
paying
something
less.
And that's something I wanted to bring up too. Again, mainly for our Swift friends. You don't have to take all those coverages.
Right.
If you're really one of those people, and I've experienced this with some conversations I've had with people over the last year, that they ask me, "Look, man, are you living paycheck to paycheck?"
Right.
Okay, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, maybe our program's not for you because it is very expensive. I love it when people actually care enough to ask me that. So I'm gonna have you tell you, when you call and talk about insurance with folks, they're gonna try to sell you the whole package. And make no mistake, we would love that because we are involved in that monetarily. So yes, we would love for you to do that. But if you're really one of those people, and it's a lot of people right now in the industry, so don't think I'm making fun of anybody.
Right.
It's just really tough right now. Living paycheck to paycheck, maybe you don't take all those coverages right now. Maybe you roll the dice. Because if you roll the dice, then boy, we did the calculation, Charlie. What was it? It was hundreds of dollars a month.
Yeah.
Savings over Swift.
So if you take the for the Swift guys, I apologize. We're using Swift right here for people who aren't with Swift. But okay, let's just say if you take the physical damage cost, the physical damage insurance cost with my carrier versus what the physical damage insurance at Seabright cost me, it's several $100s difference. Just right there.
For the same value on the truck.
Right. And you take the OCAC, my carrier is $150 a month per person. At Seabright, it's $130 a month. That's $20 times 2. That's another $40 that I just saved. The bobtail, the glass coverages, I don't have to worry about glass coverage because I'm a Florida resident. So by law, if I have full coverage, they have to cover it. I think it's 2 windshields a year. Yeah, I'm about to do my second windshield this year. Haven't done one in years. I'm back in that cycle.
I think it's funny.
Going this year. Yeah. It reminds me, I need to go buy that chip repair thing and see if I can do it myself tomorrow. Gotta put a note for that one, Jeff. Dang it. Don't text me. You'll disconnect.
He's right.
So, but if we compare the insurances that you have at Swift to just those replacing just those insurances, I think you're going to see 300, possibly more in savings a month. So that puts you in a better position for the month, right?
So what's the other side of this, though, Charlie? You have to be a big person.
Well, kind of now. They've actually made it easier. What Jeff's getting at is, well, you've actually got to take the initiative and send in or make that call or write a check and send it off every month. Oh, by the way, you can pay weekly now. They've broken it up into weekly payments if that's what you want to do. If that's going to help you do it, do it. Put aside, you know what those costs are by the week. If you don't, you need to figure it out. Take your monthly price for all your insurance, multiply that by 12. Okay, that's going to give you one big number. Divide that number by 52. That gives you a weekly number. Go into your settlements. Have your settlements pull that amount, maybe even a little more, just to save yourself. You know what? Add $10 to it. Have that amount. Let's say it's $100 a week, just because it's an easy number to think of. Okay. Have $100 a week instead of having it direct deposited to your checking account. Why don't you set it up as a separate deposit into your savings account?
Oh.
$100 a week.
And I know that $100 a week sounds scary to a lot of people, but look at your settlement and see what you're paying Mojave each week.
Oh, God.
Okay. So you're not going to be paying Mojave anymore. So just take that money and set it aside.
Right.
You were paying it. Now you're not paying it. Set it aside. You're not going to miss it because it was never there in the first place. And then you've also, because this is how I was doing it, didn't have quite enough time to do what I wanted to do with it. But I took the amount that I was paying Mojave and I put it into my business savings account. And then I would pay my Seabright. And you know what? That little bit more that I was paying Mojave, that starts building up. Well, that's your auxiliary maintenance account.
Right.
So that all sorts of things you can do with that stuff.
And some of this stuff we didn't come up with on our own. These are discussions we've had with people that we talk with. We talk with Craig Hutchinson. We talk with Matt Nissen, Mark Olinger, Sean, crazy ass Sean. We talked with James Vaughn. I mean, I had this huge insurance discussion with James Vaughn a few weeks back on the show, 2 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. Right. He started a discussion with me about insurance and whether or not it was worth even swapping over because he thought he was only going to save $100. It's not worth it. I can find another way to save $100. Well, here's an easy one, man. I don't know. And then I was like, yeah, I don't think your math is right here, bro. And we did the math. And I came back the next week with all the math in hand and said, oh, look, you would have saved much more than that $100. And he made the switch. We talked to Sean, like I said, Chris Hamilton's a great person to talk to. That dude, he's a fun person to talk to. I don't know if any of you have actually talked to Chris. He's actually a cool dude to talk to. I had a great conversation with I'm sorry, brother, I can't remember your name. Mauricio, one of our members this week. And he had some questions and he and I had a great conversation. I like that guy because he sounds like my father-in-law, just not quite as strong an accent, but pretty close. I enjoyed that. I like my father-in-law. I like talking to him. Anyhow, squirrels. Anyhow, but Jeff and I talked to a lot of people. I mean, I spoke to, 6 different people today on the phone, from Contractors Corner and things like that. You know, Jeff and I spend a lot of time on the phone, and we spend a lot of time in chat groups and, private message groups and these sort of things. And we have text chains that we're a part of, and we have all this community around us that we're a part of. And that's all stuff that we're trying to get, through to you guys is, be a part. But if you're not engaging, that's the thing. You actually got to be involved. You got to ask questions. You got to share stories, share your insights. Hey, I did this thing. What do you think about it? And we're like, oh, that's great. Or, bro, I don't know. I might rethink that. Maybe you could try this little tweak to that instead.
Right.
Right. And hell, maybe you get 10 of us to try that thing. And for 9 of us, it's great. And 1 of us, it's not. Let's figure out why that one wasn't. We'll
Right.
do that. We'll try and figure that out.
And here's one. I promise you, Kelly Hustle, I did see this earlier. Establishing business credit is essential. That is an ongoing discussion that Charlie and I have.
Right.
I am very averse to using credit. I think that credit introduces risk. Now you might say, oh, but the upside. Okay, yeah, but the risk is still not zero. And I prefer very little risk. But
Side note, Jeff and I are recording a podcast after this show is done.
thanks.
You're
Steal my
welcome.
thunder.
My bad.
But so yeah, so we're gonna have Colton on the podcast that we're gonna
Sorry,
be
Jeff.
recording later this evening, and
I
we're
got
gonna
excited.
talk about the responsible use of business credit. And Colton knows how I feel about credit, and he's like, well, yeah, you got to look at everything though.
Right.
When it's time to expand, I mean, let's be real. Swift especially absolutely did not expand with cash.
Right.
Let's-
Oh, that was very debt heavy.
Oh yeah, a little too debt heavy if you ask me. But there is a
Well,
responsible way to do it. I think, and we're going to talk about this on the podcast. I think because the podcast is kind of like the show, only we get more into technical things. We do just have a conversation with our guests. Excuse me. A lot of us, and Charlie and I will be the first to admit that we are these people.
Right.
Responsible use of credit is much more difficult than some people think it is.
Not responsible.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the debt tilt-a-whirl more than once in my adult life.
Right.
I get myself in debt, and I'm like, gosh, I got to pay all this off. Then I pay it off. I'm like, no more credit. And it's like, well, no, I'm doing
Maybe
pretty good
this.
now.
Right.
And then it's just like a vicious cycle, So yes, there's a place for credit. No, it should not be the first go-to thing. I'm gonna place a bet, Charlie,
Yes, sir.
that what we're gonna learn from Colton is you need to have a plan from the time
Right.
that you apply for the credit to the time you're gonna pay it off. And it needs to be positive cash flow.
And you need to work the plan.
Right.
Follow
Don't
through.
deviate from it.
Commitment.
And, follow through. Let's talk about follow through just for a
For
second.
real.
That's a really good squirrel, Charlie. I like that
Yes,
squirrel.
sir.
I'm seeing that squirrel with a red tail and me chasing it all over the yard.
Yes, sir.
I often, when I'm on a load, I have a plan, right? We all have a plan. I'm going to get to that Petro. The day starts getting longer. Maybe it's 110 degrees in Louisiana with 90% humidity. And you're like, man, I just want to go to McDonald's. And there's a McDonald's right there that loves. I will actually say to myself, no, Jeff, stick to the plan. You said you were going to go to that Petro. And I tell you what, Charlie, you and I've complained to you about this about myself. What do I always say the next day after I didn't follow the plan?
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to drive even further today because I didn't follow my plan yesterday. This sucks.
Right.
Follow through, man. Have a plan.
Listen. So there is an amazing philosopher alive amongst us today. He's not amongst us here physically, but in our planet today. One of the most amazing philosophers you will ever hear from, who said one of the most amazing things. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yes.
The wonderful Mike Tyson himself said those words. But here's what I want to add to that. If you stick to the plan, even after you get punched in the face, some things will happen. I've noticed that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now your plan may have to adapt. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to tune it in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that should ever be evolving, whether it's short term, whether it's long term.
Some lingo that we now know, Charlie. You ready for it?
Drop it.
Sometimes you have to pivot.
Pivoting is key. Being able to. You know,
that's what the guru. That's what the gurus say instead of the word failure. You just pivot.
Right. Right. But it's legit, and it's not failure. It's only failure if you give up. Right.
Speaking of which, I've got to call out James Vaughn for a second.
Do it.
I've been at Panther for more than 3 weeks. Just saying, still here.
He's not bankrupt. Throwing it out there.
Bankrupt. Now, straight truck was not a great experience for me, but I'm in a tractor now, so I'm more used to that. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it's funny. He kept getting this from the people handing out loads at Panther. Wait, you're solo in a straight truck?
Yeah, it was almost like we'll see what we can get you for you, little man.
Right. Yeah, hilarious. It was so deflating. Like it was a trip, man. Oh, I'd hear it in Jeff's voice. I'm like, boy, they really slammed you with that one. It just a couple simple little words. You're like, oh, but you know what? He did ultimately make profit. Yes,
I made profit every week I've been here.
So I've been very proud of him. It's been a really look. Full disclosure.
So
it's been tough financially the last few weeks for Jeff making this transition, but that happens anytime you change carrier.
Right. No, talking to Rob's people, I did really well for not knowing what I'm doing. That's what they said.
Right. That by itself is an amazing compliment, if you ask me. So
yeah,
even to the point where Rob has already asked Jeff to help talk to a couple of people about fuel purchasing ideas.
Yep.
And fuel mileage management. Jeff went there with skills that he's had and showed them, hey man, he told them, hey, I think I could do this and I could help you here. And they're like, yeah, okay, bro, do that. Show us. And he showed them. He showed them numbers. It's just look, just going back. Failure isn't failure unless you give up.
Right.
Failure can be painful, but so is education. A big thing in the community Jeff and I are part of, being uncomfortable, being made uncomfortable is how you get growth.
Yep.
Doing the hard things is what makes you grow. Not doing the easy things. I could lift a 2-pound dumbbell all damn day long, bro. I'm not going to get anything out of it. I'm just going to maybe maintain what I have. I'm not going to grow. Now, if I get out there and pick up this 50-pound dumbbell, which I probably couldn't do anyhow and curl more than once at best, I'm going to start getting growth from that. And if I do that every day and I keep working at that, I'm going to grow. And I'm going to have a Popeye arm. That ain't this one. Just saying. Right. But so my point is that, with failure, some of us look at failure as a bad thing. And I just don't want people to take that. It's just not. It's about growth. It's about you seeing what went wrong. Now let me try again. Let me try this way this time. And eventually what you find, you figure out how to do it. You can do that quicker if you have a map that guides you there. See what I'm doing there, Jeff?
Yeah.
If you have a community that can back you up and lift you up when you're down, you can do that quicker. If you have people who have done the thing you're about to try, and they can tell you unequivocally, bro, don't do it. It is a disaster. Don't go down that hallway. There's demons down there. They're going to eat your face. Why would you go down that hallway? Right? You know, things like that. So that's, that's what Jeff and I have been working on, is trying to build this community, trying to give you guys more people to listen to than just, us two donkeys on here rattling off at the hinges. When we say things, we come to you with facts and what are we at? Well, I'm just going to say well over 30 years of experience between the two of us.
Right.
Doing this thing that we are doing now that some of you are just starting out for the first time right now. Right? Jeff and I have made some horrible, costly mistakes. Some of them we've made multiple times because sometimes you just got to hit your face against the same wall a couple times. But we can share those experiences with you guys in our community. And hopefully you don't make the same ones and you can grow faster.
And I'll share a little bit more about this experience with Tim. He says, I remember when you said you were 4 months at Walmart Surge out of Opelika. No way my wife would support me staying out that long. So part of my story on that is, so people that know Don and I personally, it's not that we like live this perfect life or anything. We absolutely don't. We are different people, so we have different views, so we do argue from time to time. But you know what? We are partners in everything we do. So when I took that opportunity, I was there for, I want to say a week, maybe two, and I saw what the money potential was. And I had a long conversation with Donna about, look, this is what I'm making here. What do you think of me just staying here until they give me the boot? She's like, well, how long is that? I'm like, I honestly don't know. It could be next week. It could be in a couple months, but we're making really good money right now, and we can sock some money away.
Right.
And it's not that I said I'm doing this. I asked her. I said, I'm seeing this. I think we should do this. What do you think? And there was a conversation there. That was a tough 4 months, man. Charlie was like, dude, you need to go home. You're getting to be a jerk right now.
He was the B word extraordinaire.
So the money I made doing that, though, allowed us to move to Utah, man. That was the money we used. And yeah, it was tough, but we talked about it, and and I've always told Donna, if you told me tomorrow you need to quit and come home, I'm there.
Right.
And it's been that way for 18 years, and she's never asked me to quit. She has said, look, you've been out a while. Why don't you come home? I'm like, oh, yeah. Because, you lose track of time out here, Charlie. Whether you're in a relationship or not, weeks go by, and you're like, crap, I've been out for a month right now. And it's like, crap, I've been out for a month. But that, if there is a secret to that, Tim, that's the secret. I don't tell her what I'm going to do. I discuss it with her. Same thing with this thing that Charlie and I just did. So I did this thing that Charlie did a year ago, and we dropped some money on some stuff.
Yeah. Big dollars.
On some coaching and some classes and how to do some certain things. And Donna and I sat down and we looked at our budget, and we pretty much maxed out what we could afford, but we talked about it. We talked about everything. Right now with me taking the pay cut, learning a new business, Charlie, you know what she's out doing right now? She's out cleaning people's houses for money.
Right.
Kind of hurts my heart, but she's supporting me.
Ain't nothing wrong with honest work, damn it. That's all I got to say.
And that's just the way we roll, man.
Looking after the family, yo. Hashtag family life. Take care of what you got.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that anybody's wife is automatically going to say, yeah, go be gone for 6 months. I'm not saying that, but I think you'll find,
and it ain't for everybody.
I think you'll find that asking, that's one of my breakthroughs in my relationship, Charlie, is when I stopped telling Donna what we're doing.
Right.
Because when you're in your 20s, especially, you're the man.
What are you talking about?
That did not work well.
It did not work well at all for me.
That did not work well.
Those are some rough years for me. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't even know how I'm still married.
And And when I learned to, hey, what do you think about this, and value her opinion, that's when things changed for us.
Don is preaching down here. It's about building the relationship and building the trust. Preach,
So
woman.
yeah,
I love you. You know, James said
and
something that hurt my heart a little bit right here. I'm gonna put it up because it hurt my heart. My wife, I love her, but I can't wait to get back on the road to get away from her. You know, I here's what I'm gonna say, James. Here's what I'm gonna say. I spent years trying to talk Rosie into getting on the truck and coming out, you know, after the kids were out of high school and stuff, and she didn't need to be there to take care of them all the time. I spent years begging her to come out on the truck. And she had these limiting beliefs that kept her from doing that. Okay. And now, once she's done it, she's been on the truck 8 years. I cannot go work by myself. Not because she won't let me, but because I can't stand to be away from her that long.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks me. I mean, I've even gone out on an overnight run for Target before, and I was a damn wreck. I can't, but is that every relationship? Nope. I get it. I can tell you for me, it was absolutely life-changing and absolute blessing. And I can't think. I mean, look, we've got our days where we're like, pound sand, girl. And she's like, bro, get out of the truck.
I've been on the
We're
phone
fighting.
with her and heard her profaning at you.
Yes, there have been times, right? And that's just part of the relationship, though. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yep.
she and I have been together since we're 15. I mean, look, it's kind of ridiculous. There were a lot of really, really hard, bad years. Mostly driven the hard way by me. Much like what Jeff was saying, this is what we're doing. Get on board or get out of the way. Coming from me, right? That's not a relationship. That's a dictatorship, and I'm not living in a dictatorship, and I wouldn't expect anyone else to live that way. I don't want to live that way. But as I got older and I started seeing the error of my ways,
Mm-hmm.
and I started respecting my wife more. It wasn't that I didn't respect her. I just felt like, I don't know, I got to be in charge. I got to run everything. I got to take care of everything. That's my job. I'm a man. No, you're in a partnership. You're in a
Yep.
relationship,
That's the key right there.
right? And no, I get it, James. I'm not cracking on you. James said, I miss my wife. I love my wife. I enjoy the peaceful. I get it, bro. I get it. It's not for everybody. It's just the way you said it kind of hurt my heart a little bit. And I just wanted to share my view of it so that, there is, different perspectives, different views, different ways of seeing all these things, and I can't, I could sit here and cry. Literally, I could get emotional talking about this, and you guys will crack on me for the next 2 months. I'm not going to do that. I can tell you that I don't want to work without Rosie in the truck with me ever again. Ever again. If she wants to bounce, I will go do what I have to do. But I will not like it one bit. I can tell you that. Could I probably get used to it again? Maybe. Or I may just leave trucking altogether. Who knows? Right? It's not something I even want to deal with. So yeah.
Yeah,
It's a trip.
everybody's at a different place in their relationships.
But the key point here is communicating, one with your customer, one with your family, your spouse, your significant other, whatever it is that you have, the dog that rides shotgun with you. I don't know. You might want to say, hey, Sparky, you really want to get out and run around in this field and poop over on that tree? I don't know. It looks a little sketchy, bro. And of course, he'll say, whatever the hell that means. I don't know, but your
Go
dog.
get
I don't
stung
know.
by that hornet's nest that's right there at the bottom. Oh my! Did Charlie just duck out, or is it me? I can't tell. Somebody tell me if you're hearing me or not. That was like wild.
Whoa, bro. It like
That was backwards.
StreamYard completely crashed on me.
That was
And it's like,
backwards. I was like asking
something
people,
happened.
"Can you? So are you guys seeing me live, or am I gone, or what?"
That's funny. My bad. Unintentional. It literally just crashed. I got a big error message on my screen like StreamYard just crashed. Oops, something went wrong. I'm like, what the hell? That was
Whoa,
baffling.
I didn't know
Anyhow,
what to do, man.
but yeah, so you know, I just want to finish my point, man. If all of these things in life, communication is the key to damn near everything, right? Being able to communicate your thoughts, your feelings, your desires, your intentions, right? And being open to hearing the other party's intentions, thoughts, desires, wants. So whether it's your personal life or your business life, I think it all goes together. It all follows
Right.
the same kind of rule, right?
And
Oh,
you
some
know
might say the
the
golden rule.
yes, and that's one of the exercises that we're going to be running people through, um, in our coursework for the roadmap that we're coming up with. Charley experienced this firsthand, really for the first time, I think, this last couple of weeks. The writing down your vision of your future self.
I keep notebooks around me now. Look,
Like
this is just from today.
Yeah.
Look, I can flip pages from today. I mean, I've got numbers and stuff and all kinds of nonsense. Look, and I keep a book in the truck now with a pen on it at all times. It's weird.
Holy smokies.
I don't like it, but I do like it.
Yeah.
It's different.
But yeah, I mean, if you take some of this stuff seriously and you go through it, and we'll guide you through it. It's not going to be like, what do I do? We'll guide you through it. Yes, write down, in 10 years, I have a background I was an English major. I wanted to be a writer when I was little. So I like writing stories. So my method of doing this was literally, and I shared it with Charley, who was like, holy crap, that was okay. I just literally wrote a story. This is meet Jeff in 2034, and I had that written down and everything down to what I'm doing and
That
what my
was
day
such
is
a weird
like.
experiment for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's even deeper than my finished story too. The relationship with my wife is part of it, the relationship with my children, and hopefully by then my grandchildren.
And your spirituality, because that's a big thing for you, bro.
Right. And my spirituality. All of that stuff is important. What you'll find is the business, the work you do, that's just one, that's up, that's up,
Right.
like up here. Your relationship with your kids, your relationship with your parents, if they're still alive. Charley and I are getting to that age where we have to put that in there.
Right.
Even like relationships from my two remaining friends from high school are down here,
Right.
everything. When you start looking at that, you're like, gosh, I might be kind of a piece of crap right now, but I want to be that guy. And you write that down and you read that at least once a week and you start thinking to yourself, what do I need to do today to be that guy?
Right.
It's life-changing.
Little things.
Life-changing.
Little tiny corrections now can have a huge ripple down the road. Right? I mean, I literally, I mean, it's metaphoric, but it's literal. I've heard people talk about, just a tiny pebble thrown into a pond. It makes a little tiny splash, but it can send waves out that cross the entire mile-long pond.
Mm-hmm.
And those ripples become waves at times. Physically seen it in this glassy ass pond. I can't remember what that trail was. Rosie and the kids went on a hike one day and camped out at this beautiful, crystal clear, icy, freaking cold lake up in the mountains one time. And it was so damn still. Threw a rock out there, thinking about the pebble in the pond thing, right? I saw the ripple. The water was so damn clear, although I couldn't reach the bottom, right? But you could see the bottom like it was right there to touch. Anyhow, but you could see all the way across this pond in daylight. And I watched the ripple hit the shore on the other side of this pond. It took me a half hour to walk around. That's crazy. So a tiny change in your life today, in the way that you're thinking, in the way that you're doing things right here, right now, could have profound, massive changes in your life down the road. By the way, Trucker Tim, I think what hurts our relationship is that we married with the same goals in mind, but she changed her mind afterward. There was no discussion about it at all. And exactly, you know what? Discussion, communicating. That's a problem. You know, my advice is you gotta have a talk.
I would put in there though. Did the vision change though?
Right.
You know, I only share my deep dark secrets with certain people, but I can tell you, Charlie, that when I shared what I wrote up during our last exercise,
right,
Donna was a little disappointed in some of it because some of my views have changed over the years.
Right.
It's not that things we discussed in the past aren't important to me at all. It's just that where I am right now in my life today, there's things that we've discussed in the past that I'm like, I don't know about that right now.
Right.
And this is where we come in for you guys, because this is what our coach has done for us. You know, we had a conversation with Josh, our coach, about that. Because, you know, I'll get a little into the weeds here. A lot of you guys know that I'm LDS. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, regardless of what you know, I'm not perfect. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
There's certain things that when I was growing up, absolutely, I wanted to do certain things in my life. And as I've gotten older, and I wouldn't say wiser because I'm a mess right now with where that part of my life is concerned. But, you know, the end vision I found hasn't changed. And I'm talking to our coach about this, about how, regardless of what church you belong to or what faith you espouse, or if you're an atheist,
right,
there's an expectation for you as a man or a woman or another.
Exactly.
Well, okay, so right now you don't feel like that old view of yourself is true anymore, and that's fine. And you tell me, but here's what he thinks is going to happen. As I work on this new vision, chances are I will learn and I will grow and I'll come back to those things again. It's just not now, and that's okay.
It's just a different path to get to the same place.
Right.
Those paths are constantly interwinding, and you know, it's just we've all got a different map. Some maps are better than others.
Yeah.
You know, we've all got our life map, which is, let's just face, in reality, confusing and train wreck and whatever. Ups, downs, there's tons of dead ends, whatever. In business, what Jeff and I are trying to do is build you a roadmap that will get you from point A to point B in the most direct route with the least pain and cost involved.
Right. And we built bridges over the pitfalls that we fell into.
Exactly. Bridges, sir. Bridges. Bridge builders. That's what we're working on.
That's right. That way you don't have to fall into those crevasses. Because heaven knows we've fallen into a few doozies, haven't we?
Oh, bro. So deep. Look, there was a while back I couldn't see the top.
Yep.
And you know, talking about the credit thing, you know, I'm on a plan right now that I am following and going after, and I'm paying down all kinds of credit card debt and stuff like that. I paid 3 different things off last month, and I was excited. They were little things, but they opened me to bring that money into the bigger things to start making them smaller things. Yep. Crazy. Stupid, simple things. Just need a little.
So yeah, in case you can't tell, we're really excited about everything we learned in the last week.
Right. Well, not even just the last week. I mean, the last week was the trigger. I mean, honestly, it was the match on my fuse.
Right.
Right. And I've been building the fuse and building my firework display for a while now, to use another metaphor, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't have the match. I didn't know how to light it. I think I know how to light it right now, and I'm excited because I can't wait to see what goes up and what we get to share with everybody. I am so freaking stoked right now and so on fire. Jeff can tell you, it's like the last 3 nights specifically, I have been an absolute train wreck in the morning because I am thinking all night long. You know, a couple hours of sleep. I need to say this, you know, not unsafe. I get naps when I need to. When I need to stop and take a break, I take a break while driving, okay? I'm not the guy that's head bobbing down the road. However, I haven't been sleeping at night like a normal person lately at all. I've been losing, 6-8 hours at night from my normal because I'm so damn excited and I've got so many ideas and I'm envisioning the way that Jeff and I and Donna and Rosie and the people that we work with, Josh and even Tony and Jeff Reese and Colton Lawrence. I mean, and Greg over at Pod Wheels and just everything. I can see so many things coming in the very near future and beyond that I'm talking about it and I'm like goosebumping up right now. It is, and I love this feeling, and I'm so freaking excited that my fuse is lit and my fireworks display is about to explode.
And I couldn't be happier.
God. Dude, I'm just like, God.
Well, it's this experience with us, and we're a little inside baseball, but I think it's good for you guys to see, quote, the real us or whatever.
Right.
It's like, guys, you've seen these guys on Facebook that ask every 2 weeks for the last 200 years, hey, I'm thinking about being an owner-operator. What do you guys actually make?
Right.
Hey, I'm thinking about being an owner-operator. What's it like? But they never pull the trigger. Well, Charlie pulled the trigger last week by going through this thing that I went through a year ago, and now he sees. At some point, you just got to jump.
Right. And I couldn't do it without making the leap myself.
And here's the thing about successful people. They jump. And, I don't care what your opinion about the man is, but Elon Musk is a primary example.
Right.
Love him or hate him. Let's just talk about him as a business guy. You know how many times that man has failed? He'll jump into something and it don't work out. You know what he does immediately? Gets out of that business and goes and tries something else. Well, that didn't work out, but hey, I got this other idea.
And he goes all in.
Yeah.
And I mean all in.
Absolutely.
Look at the Tesla thing. Look at a SpaceX. I mean, he put himself, there was no outs at the beginning of those. He put everything he had into those. Sold off all of his crap. Right? I mean, the dude was living in a freaking factory for God knows how long.
Yep.
So he didn't have to commute to work.
Fire marshal doesn't know about that. But
Right. But you know what I mean? It's crazy, man. But if you can't commit to yourself, if you can't trust yourself and believe in yourself, you know what? Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let us help get you there. And whether it's the right choice or the wrong choice, ultimately, let us help you get there to that process. I think that you'll find that Jeff and I can actually be a pretty good sounding board. Understand that our time is valuable too. And that's consideration.
We have a reputation for speaking our minds.
Right. You may not like some things we say.
Which does rub some people the wrong way, let's be honest.
And I am a potty mouth, so be prepared. If you don't like to hear something cuss, call Jeff.
Does not work well on my teenagers.
Right. But I can assure you that we will give you 100%.
Yeah.
100% we will throw in. And we'll have a full-blown discussion, conversation. We will work through some problems with you and try and get you on the right track to get you to make a decision. Because if you don't make a decision, nothing's ever going to happen. Yep. You have to make the decision. You're the CEO. We're your advisor. Colton Lawrence is our CFO.
Yep.
Donna Morton is Mortco Transportation's comptroller.
Yep.
Jeff is the CEO.
And our graphic artist.
And our graphic artist. Exactly right. You need to make decisions, but if you're not willing to make a decision, and you know what, there are times when you simply need to just make a damn decision. Stop thinking it out. Stop looking at everything. That you've overanalyzed it, and you have created paralysis by analysis, and you are frozen, and you're afraid to make a decision one way or the other. You know what? Call Jeff and I right then and there. Call us. Shoot us a message. We're going to tell you, you know what? You've done all the research. You've got all the information you need. What does your gut tell you? What does your mind tell you? What does your heart tell you? What's in your heart?
Yep. And I wanted to touch on this from James.
Go for it.
So, James, I apologize because sometimes the way you write, it's not clear what your actual context is, but I'm going to just put my own context on this. SpaceX, did it blow up? No? Okay, run it until it blows up. SpaceX, that last really catastrophic one they had, you remember how, and I'm cutting out again, aren't I?
It's
Damn
okay.
it.
Go ahead. You're good now.
Okay. That last catastrophic one they had, the one that the news was like, oh, they're such a failure. Dude, did you see the interviews with the engineers that were all excited about all the
I
data
know.
they got off of that launch? They
It
learned
was
so
crazy.
much. And they were like, we could change this and this and this. And oh, if we do this next time, it'll go a little further. And
Right.
man, the engineers were just freaking ecstatic. The rocket
Right.
blew up.
Right. But you know what? That's a great way to look at your life, though. If and your business. If you see these failures happen, they're only failures, like I said, if you quit, if you didn't learn something from it.
Mhm.
So take the opportunity, take the resources that we've given out for free for years. You have a resource in us. Use the resource at your disposal. It's not going to be free forever. That's just reality. It can't be. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to be coming to our community saying, hey, look, here's the deal. We have to start charging for this stuff because if we don't, we can't do this any longer.
Right.
Jeff and I have spent
Oh,
thousands of dollars. It's just real.
we forgot one. She is also
And the
our
YouTube manager. Yes,
She actually
Donna.
does all of our shorts that you see. She spends hours every day doing that. Trucker Dan's got a really great stack. Look at this, man.
I know. I saw it.
Stockbridge, Georgia, going to Whistletown, Indiana, then pick up a load in Ferdinand, Indiana, going to Phoenix. Dude, that's a nice stack.
All right. It's a good.
Wow.
That's a good few days right there.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe like 2 days for Rosie and I, but whatever. Just playing. Good on you. But yeah, so you guys, we're coming to the end here. We've been doing some preaching. We've really we come into every week, by the way, just so we're clear. We don't come in with an agenda as a normal thing. We have like no agenda. Like literally, Tony asked me earlier, right before I came on the show today. He's like, "Hey man, you ready for your show today?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, dude." I'm like, "I'm always ready." He's like, "What's your topic?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? I ain't got a topic."
And then he's just quiet. He doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, okay." You know what he wanted me to talk about, Jeff? You know what he wanted me to talk about? He's on the phone right now. He's calling me. I gotta take it, Jeff. Don't I have to take it?
No, we're on the show, dude.
Oh, okay. Tony, if you're hearing me, I will call you right back, sir. Anyhow, if you know what he wanted me to talk about, our president.
The politics.
Yep. And
the politics.
It's a thing. You guys know we don't do politics here on the show. We have our own visions and beliefs and things like that. We try to keep them off of the show. So we typically, not that we don't talk about general political things that have to do with our industry and regulation and things like that. But we're not going to really typically get into how Biden hates truck drivers. Did you see what I did there, Jeff? Sorry, bro. I couldn't pass that up. I'm just saying. You know what? He may have good reason to. Whatever. I don't care. Anyhow, with that, you guys, we've really gone off on all kinds of directions here. I hope that you found some value in this and that you take what we're saying to heart, you guys. I know sometimes Jeff and I are kind of flippant with some things or low key and just kind of having a good time.
Well,
we try to make
Sean
nuggets.
deserves it though. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, that's just fun. You can never go without giving Sean a shot. Let's just be real.
I swear, if Sean ever gets actually offended by us, and I apologize if this offends anybody, if Sean ever gets offended, it's time to look for Jesus. The second coming is here. That man is. You can't offend him.
Jokes.
You cannot. You cannot offend that guy. He will just talk to you, and no matter how the argument goes, at the end he's like, "All right, man, let's go play some slots."
Right? Exactly. So you guys, once again, seriously, even though we try to joke and have a good time, we're here to entertain as well as educate and spread some good information. We hope. If you like what we're doing, make sure you're hitting those thumbs up, telling people about the channel, things like that. If you haven't subscribed, please think about doing it. Like I said, keep tuned in. We're gonna have some exciting stuff that we're gonna really start talking a lot about in the month of July. We are doing a lot of work in the background. The private community that for you guys that are over in the private community on the Mighty system right now, that will probably be dying here very soon. I think by July 1st will be dead. Make sure your emails are updated. In fact, it's not even worth updating your email there. If your email address is different than what you have on Mighty, you need to send me a message directly so that I can make sure that you get the invite to the new place.
Right. We'll get you into the new platform with the same deal you've got now.
That's exactly right. That will be forever. So, and when we do launch this thing, the deal that you get when you sign up is going to be the deal that you keep for life.
Yep.
So be prepared to take action. Be prepared to take control of your business. And on that note, I'm going to drop it with the tagline, Jeff. Stop paying for a job and own your business, y'all.